I trained in psychodrama first. Psychodrama is really like what I've always been most attracted to, the whole system, kind of spiritually. And then I trained in IFS second, and I was like, wow, these things are pretty similar. And it's also how I feel my spirituality. And so the and in my practice I've been like playing with these things in my practice and seeing the benefit of both of those. And I've also noticed, I think I've been this way before I trained in IFS, but like so many things were like, it's kind of the same thing, I don't need to learn that, roles, parts, self, autonomous healing center, Godhead. But it's really, speaking of safety and stuff like that in conflict, like what IFS provides and what's important is they're both anchored in this basis of spirituality, of like of an autonomous healing center, of like a unified piece of all of ourselves that directs us towards the good stuff that we need. But it provides like an intrapsychic structure, and it provides like of a map of spending time with the way that we embody roles to get more data out of those things for ourselves, or to get more things to embody and to clear things out, to let the whole Godhead come forward and self come forward and connect, peace and love and harmony, world peace, etc.
So would you say that that autonomous healing center also represents the self for IFS?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's all the same thing, and I can really extend that. Like I'm an EMDR therapist. That's EMDR therapist called the AIP, the Adaptive Information Processing System. Um, but yeah, the Godhead and the self are the same.
Would you be open to doing like a short, maybe 5-minute vignette with me on parts work, but
Mhm.
sociodramatically?
So you can, to do it sociodramatically, you could almost think about it as a part of people, you know what I mean, in general, or a part of your clients.
Okay.
Mhm. So what comes up for you?
Hmm. When I think about a part that comes up for people or that I see in clients a lot, and I'm looking around for something to concretize it,
Already ahead of the
I
game.
see, huh?
Already
Already
ahead
ahead
of
of
the
the game.
game, yeah.
Yeah. I see this. It's a I don't remember what it's called, but it's like I think it's an infinity cube,
Mm-hmm.
and it represents confusion
Mm-hmm.
and this seemingly endless chess game of trying to figure everything out and be
Mm-hmm.
just right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Perfect. And so go ahead and reverse roles with the cube. Mm-hmm. All right. And you're the cube. What should I call you? What should we call you?
You can call me self-doubt.
And so self-doubt, would you be okay if I interview you? I have you kind of give some answers to Courtney about maybe your role. We can do your role in Courtney's life, or if you want, we can do your role in Courtney's clients' lives or people's lives.
Yeah, we'll do my role in Courtney's clients' lives.
Perfect. So just trust yourself, as I can tell you're already doing. But can you tell Courtney a little bit about what you do for Courtney's clients?
Yeah, I help them slow down and to feel things out and to consider that maybe their experience isn't the only experience.
Mhm. Yeah.
I remind them of the past a lot.
Tell Courtney what it's like to have therapy with her, to be inside her clients and have therapy with her.
You make it really challenging for me to just be. You really point your finger at me and I can't hide very well. And I don't like that.
Mhm. Yeah. And tell Courtney what you wish you would do instead.
I wish that you would be more gentle with me and understand that I serve a good purpose, that I'm not destructive, I'm not all bad, but that I can be helpful.
Yeah. And can you tell Courtney too, like, what are you afraid would happen if you just abandoned the people that you're with? If you just stopped doing this job of slowing them down, reminding them of the past?
They'd get hurt. They'd have less caution and would maybe not be able to tell who's trustworthy and who's not.
Mhm. Yeah. And is there anything else you want to tell Courtney about all of that while you've got her captive in that seat over there?
Hmm. Don't let your problem with me in yourself become a problem with me and your clients.
Mm. And how do you feel towards Courtney now that you've been able to speak to some of these things?
I feel more empowered, and I feel like maybe she could have a greater understanding and appreciation of me.
Yay. Very good. So reverse roles. Mhm. And Courtney, just take a second and take those messages in from the self-doubt part of your clients.
It didn't sound very happy. It sounded kind of miffed at me.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. And how does it feel? How does it land on you to kind of hear it out and hear what would make it better for itself and what it wants?
Hmm. I I still feel some of those therapist-y parts that want to challenge, and at the same time, I I hear that it really wants space, that it really wants to be allowed to just show up
Mhm.
without some quick tearing down.
Mhm. Totally. And if you check inside, even that kind of therapist part you described, you might not even have to look inside to know, but what's that part of you? What's its fear if it can't help this client? If it can't challenge these certain things, what would that mean?
Mm, it's it's hard. I said it's funny because whenever I was the part, I said, "I feel empowered that I've said these things to Courtney." And I feel like if I let that part stay, then the client is disempowered.
Mhm.
So it's a really strange, not
Mhm.
really contradiction, but
Yeah, polarization.
yeah.
Yeah. So just take a second and first check in if there's anything else you need to say to that part, the self-doubt.
Self-doubt. Thank you for showing me how you can be helpful to clients. I It's hard for me to sit with that. Maybe because like I said earlier, it's hard for me to sit with you and myself. So, thank you for challenging me today.
Good. And then just make sure you take them back into yourself, whatever piece of the self-doubt you put in there, and then check in inside too, and just give I like to whisper a little thank you. Thank you to all my parts that pop up, like, thanks. Thank you. Very good. Mhm. Thanks, Courtney.
Yeah, thank you, Hayden.
Yeah, yeah.
I really enjoyed
Me
that.
too. My sharing for you
Yes.
would be me too. Me too. I feel those things in the therapist chair often. Mhm. And there's the part. This is like where I'll get in the weeds if I go too long about this, but like there's the part of clients that brings them to therapy, and it's actually a part of client that has a concern, and so you have to work with their concern and the part of them that is concerned about their concern, and the best way to help tease all that out is in action and embodied to just kind of like let's get some first universe energy in there. Connect with the Godhead, connect with the self. Self is a much less intimidating word than Godhead.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that one. Mhm.
Yeah. It really is.
Mhm.
Well, thank you for bringing this workshop to the conference
Sure.
and for carving out time for today.
Yeah.
There's, a lot of interest in integrating psychodrama and IFS,
Mhm.
and it's interesting whenever we allow space for the spiritual conversations to come up.